Hi everyone, my name is Josh and I'm making Goodlands, a game about dinos digging up dinos. About a month ago I released a demo on Steam, and I wanted to talk a bit about it. If you haven't had the chance to try it out, I recommend you do. So, big question, why did I make a demo? There are a lot of different opinions floating around in game development spaces about the utility of demos, whether they're worth it, whether they help or hurt sales, how long they should be available for, etc, etc. But as a hobbyist, the answers to those questions didn't matter too much to me. I made a demo for a few reasons. First was feedback. Mainly I wanted to see if I was on the right track with the game loop. Is the game fun? Do I need to rework everything? So the demo functioned as a kind of public playtest. Second was a foundation. I wanted to make a small-scale version of the game that could easily be built upon for the full release. Third was motivation. I wanted to have a sense of accomplishment, like I'd achieved something, and making the demo felt like it would kind of satisfy that desire. I've been calling myself a game dev for like 3 years now, and finally I have something to show for it. I also knew that if I got any positive remarks directed towards me, it could fuel my development indefinitely. Fourth was practice. I wanted to experience launching a game on Steam, but in a lower stakes format that the demo could afford me. I got to understand what it's like to push builds and hotfixes and patches, and even sit in anticipation waiting for reviews, bug reports, etc. Fifth, which has yet to be realized, is Steam Next Fest. It's a good marketing opportunity, and releasing the demo ahead of time gives me time to sort out bugs and adjust things based off of feedback. Those 5 reasons were more than enough to convince me to make a demo, and I'm so happy I did. But making a demo is kind of difficult. There's a common refrain: as a developer, you have to weigh competing interests. You need to make a demo that is fun, engaging, and representative, but not too fun, engaging, or representative to the point that no one buys your game. I understand the fear that underlies this point, but I decided to largely ignore it for a few reasons. First was that I felt there was enough promised content: a bigger, better story, more fossils, more NPCs, a larger map, truck upgrades, fishing game, and more, that players who enjoyed their time with the demo could look forward to. Second is, outside of a single 2D Ludum Dare game I made in a day back in 2018, this is my first game. So the idea of making a demo so amazing, so earth-shatteringly good, that it essentially negates the need for the full game, didn't feel like the most terrible outcome. A far worse outcome in my mind would be a mixed or negative review on Steam, coupled with the need to reevaluate the design of the game and decide whether to soldier on or cut my losses. From that perspective, pushing myself to make something as good as possible without being burdened by a fear of lost sales seemed to be the best way to avoid such a scenario. And lastly, while I am a medical student quickly approaching $500,000 in debt, money isn't everything. Don't get me wrong, I'd like this game to make a little bit of money, but my main goal is to make something good, so I never really cared if the demo was too good. Now, there are a lot of different strategies for making demos. Some demos limit playtime on a full game. You could just cap it at 30 minutes and call it a day. Or you could have a few select levels available to play, or have some sort of short linear story play out. But because Goodlands is an open-world exploration game, designing an abbreviated experience is a bit more challenging. The main gameplay loop consists of finding fossilized bones sticking out of the ground, brushing them off to install a dig site, and then helping a crew member with something they need. Then you go to bed, and the next day, you deliver the excavated fossils to the museum and clean them off for display. Therefore, the most bare-bones demo I could make would consist of finding your first fossil and doing all the steps necessary to get it into the museum. But I don't think that would be a very good introduction to the spirit of the game. The game, after all, is about exploration, so I felt there needed to be a decent number of things to find, even if it's a demo. Moreover, I wanted players to be able to complete a skeleton if they were motivated to do so. In the end, I decided that the best way to show off the core idea of the game was to have a full skeleton available to discover, divided across 4 dig sites. This provided flexibility to players. If you want to quit after finding your first fossil, that's okay, you've still accomplished something. But if you want to dive deeper, you can. Along with the skeleton, there are some distractors. There's 8 invertebrate fossils to collect, and lots of NPCs to chat with and quests to complete. I also added in 18 achievements, and I think it might have been my best idea. I think it gave the demo a really polished feel, provided me with some crude analytics, and gave more motivated players clearly defined goals for completion. So, a month out, how did the demo do? Well, I think it did really well by my standards, but success can be defined in a lot of different ways. With the hope that this might help others, I'm including some statistics. The demo is almost at 1900 unique players at this point, which is just so insane to me. This is a bar chart that Steam generates of the playtime. Big points here. The median playtime is 20 minutes, so 50% played less than 20 minutes, and 50% played more than 20 minutes. I definitely think this could be better, but I'm content with this number. Additionally, almost 40% played for at least 30 minutes, and 20% played for at least an hour. And I am astonished that 1% of people played the demo for over 5 hours. Now, based off of achievements, about 56% of players discovered a fossil. That is the beginning of the game loop. And around 30% cleaned a fossil, which is the end of the game loop. And about 7% of players completed the whole skeleton, finding and cleaning the fossils from all 4 dig sites. I estimate about 3% of players 100% of the demo. And if we normalize based off of the 56% of players who found a fossil, all these other numbers are practically doubled. As for wishlists, I had a net increase of about 1,300 wishlists since the demo launch. That puts my total balance at around 16,500 wishlists. I did have higher than normal deletions during this period, and I'm certain some people tried the demo and realized that this is not their type of game, but the number of deletions were still low compared to the number of additions. Additionally, during sales, there are always wishlist purges, and this period coincided with the Steam Winter Sale. Based off of the still relatively low wishlist deletion rate and solid wishlist addition rate, I think people generally liked the demo, and I believe those who didn't were largely people who came across the game organically once the demo launched. The demo itself is standing at a 94% positive rating with 35 reviews, which is crazy. The general wisdom that I've seen online of 1 review for every 50 players is held true for the demo, which was kind of cool to see. There were also a lot of streamers who played the demo, and that was a really awesome and valuable experience. It was really great seeing people interact with the game in real time, and it helped me understand points of confusion or frustration better. It was also really nice to see people genuinely enjoying something I made. I've had so many people send me really nice messages, I've had others show off their characters to me, and even some people who have made beautiful fan art. Such a cool experience, 10 out of 10. So what's next? Well, there's a big demo update I'm planning for the end of the month in anticipation of Steam Next Fest. It will address some bugs that I haven't gotten to yet and make onboarding a little bit more straightforward. As for the full release, I have a pretty good idea of what needs to get done. It's now just a matter of balancing development with the rest of my life. I'm working on overhauling the fossil minigame, and I plan to release a playtest on itch.io to get feedback on the new features. A recurring point of feedback was the desire for a log that records clues and quests. I'm hoping to get started on this in an improved map shortly. I'm also working with the talented Crystal Wave machine to get more music in the game. Beyond that, it's just a lot of content that I have to make and add in, and I hope to make more devlogs, so stay tuned for that. I think a video about fishing might be next. There's still a lot to do, but I feel so motivated knowing there are a lot of people out there excited about what I'm making. So thank you for playing the demo, giving me your thoughts, and supporting the development of this project. If you haven't already, wishlist Goodlands on Steam, and consider joining the Discord, which is closing in on 100 members. Link in the description.